Just like that, we're back. 3 months of emptiness will be filled as stock cars return for 2025. And after the chaotic and controversial scenes of 2024, I'm sure we all hope to forget how last year ended. Well, maybe all except for this team. Normally, I'd say Team Penske had a weird year, but honestly, this is their new normal. Team Penske has mastered the NASCAR survival game. They don't need to dominate, they just need to show up, scrape into the playoffs, and watch the chips fall in their favor. It's not always pretty, but with 3 straight championships in the next-gen era, it's hard to argue with the results. For the first time since 2022, all 3 drivers made to victory lane. 4 wins for Joey Logano, 3 for Ryan Blaney, and a surprise win for Austin Cindric. Sounds solid, right? Well, in the grand scheme of NASCAR, Penske wasn't even close to being the team to beat. But here's a kicker. In today's NASCAR, you don't need to be great or even good to win it all. And Joey Logano proved just that by being not even the 10th best driver and yet walked away with his 3rd championship. Somehow Penske has perfected the art of being just good enough when it counts, and it's working. Logano's season was peak Penske. Underwhelming in the regular season, but a masterclass in clutch playoff performances. The guy didn't need to be dominant, he just needed to be in the mix. And that's how you win 3 championships in today's NASCAR with the racing equivalent of C's get degrees. Say what you will about Joey, but when the stakes are high, he is a king of just enough. Ryan Blaney, on the other hand, kept the momentum rolling from his 2023 championship campaign, making it to the championship 4 for the 2nd year in a row. He was probably the workhorse of the team, carried the consistency on his back. Blaney's recipe for success: make it to the playoffs, then hit the turbo button. Honestly, the Penske playbook is simple. Get to the top 16 and let the chaos do the rest. But then there's Austin Cindric, the awkward 3rd wheel in Penske's championship dynasty. To be fair, 2024 was a step up from him, a win at Gateway, an 11th place points finish, and 256 laps led, nearly tripled his best from 2022. But here's the problem, he's still miles behind his teammates. Sure, he signed a contract extension last year, but Penske doesn't exactly hand out long-term deals and drivers stuck in meh mode. If there is one thing Roger Penske hates, it's mediocrity. Cindric better find another gear soon, or the number 2 seat might have a new occupant. 2024 was a roller coaster for Hendrick Motorsports. 40 years into their NASCAR run, they reminded everyone why they are still the best in the business, and also why they occasionally throw away golden opportunities like a kid tossing veggies off their dinner plate. William Byron came out swinging, kicking off the season winning the Daytona 500 and snagging 2 more wins in the first 8 races. But then came the playoffs, and Byron went as cold as the other side of the pillow, going winless but still managing to make it to the championship 4, finishing in 3rd. He's got the speed, but when his back is against the wall, he's got to channel his inner clutch and stop blinking first in the steering contest. Kyle Larson had a season that could have been legendary, but ended up as a highlight reel of what ifs. Skipping the Coke 600 for the Indy 500, it was a bold move, but it cost him the regular season championship possibly. Who knows, might have been his ticket to the championship 4 with those extra bonus points. Then there was Homestead, where he tried to make something happen and ended up making a mess instead. Still, Larson is the guy to watch. His go big or go home mentality makes him the most exciting driver out there, sometimes to his own detriment. After a nightmarish 2023 season, Chase Elliott came roaring back. He was one of the best in the regular season, breaking a lengthy winless streak at Texas, and reminded everyone why he's a Cup champ. But here's the thing, Texas was his only win, and when the stakes were high in the playoffs, the 9 car just didn't have the magic. Something was missing last year. Chase, if you can find that, 2025 could be yours. And then there's Alex Bowman, the team's underdog, or some might say, the red-headed stepchild. People love to underestimate him, but 2024 proved he's no pushover. Winning at Chicago by beating a road course ringer is impressive to say the least. He would have made it to the round of 8 also if his car didn't decide to go on Ozempic and quit on him. Bowman is a sleeper of this squad, quietly putting up results and occasionally stealing headlines. Don't sleep on Alex yet. Despite the highs of their 40th year, like a top 3 finish at Martinsville, Hendrick Motorsports' 2024 season left fans both cheering and groaning. They've got the talent, the cars, and the history. Now they just need to figure out how to avoid stepping on their own spoilers. If I had to sum up Joe Gibbs Racing's 2024 season in one word, it'd be lackluster. Sure, there were flashes of brilliance thanks largely to Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, who each snagged 3 wins, but the team hasn't seen victory lane since June. For a team stacked with championship talent, it's not just unusual, it's downright baffling. Man, poor Denny. For the 3rd year in a row, he got booted out of the round of 8 at Martinsville, his personal Bermuda Triangle. And with him now the oldest driver in the field at 44, his championship window isn't just closing, it's squeaking like an old door hinge. To make matters worse, he's losing his longtime sponsor FedEx and crew chief Chris Gabehart. making this feel eerily similar to another driver's late career downward spiral. Let's face it, 2025 might be Hamlin's last real shot at that elusive championship. It's either now or he retires as the Mark Martin of NASCAR. Talented, but no ring to show for it. However, Christopher Bell has all the potential to be JGR's next leading man, but he's got to learn how to close a deal. He's fast, sure, but sometimes his decision making screams Florida man headlines. Those desperate tactics might make for great highlights, but they didn't win him a ticket to the championship round. Still, he's young, talented, and hungry, 3 things that bode well for his future at JGR. If he can harness that potential, Bell could be the one to carry the team's torch into the next decade. Then there's JGR's golden grandson, Ty Gibbs. Surprised all of us in 2024, not by winning, but by not ticking off half of the garage. Hey, progress! While he didn't find victory lane, he showed real improvement with strong performances at Bristol and Charlotte. If he keeps this don't make enemy strategy going, he's bound to win sooner rather than later. Enter the new kid on the block, Chase Briscoe. After 6 years of Truex Jr., JGR finally got some fresh blood in their lineup. Briscoe, the defending Southern 500 winner, has already proven he can do a lot with little. Give him JGR equipment and who knows, he might just light up the scoreboard. The team is clearly in transition, with Hamlin likely nearing the end of his career, Gibbs improving his game, Briscoe bringing fresh energy, and Bell carrying the torch for the future. Things look bright for Joe Gibbs. When Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin launched 23XI Racing in 2021, their mission was clear: shake things up in NASCAR. And boy did they deliver, though maybe not the way they expected. Off the track, they're busy trying to take down NASCAR in an ongoing lawsuit that feels like it's straight out of a Netflix drama, but on track, they're proving Denny wasn't bluffing when he said they'd be championship contenders within 5 years. Tyler Reddick is the golden child of 23XI, winning the regular season championship and pulling off a clutch victory in Miami, which got him a ticket to the championship 4. And while he didn't snag the title, he showed great potential that he has a chance of becoming a future champion. It's not a matter of if he wins the title, it's when. At this rate, the only thing standing in his way might be Reddick himself, or his bowel movements. I don't know, it's NASCAR, weirder things have happened. Bubba Wallace, on the other hand, although he's up, he's still playing second fiddle to Reddick. 2024 was his best season yet for top 5s and top 10s, but once again he couldn't find victory lane. Not only that, he earned the most points out of any non-playoff driver in the playoffs. He even earned more than Reddick. So we know that Bubba has the talent and the speed. He just needs to close it out. Booty Barker was good, but it was clear that a change needed to be made. The good news for 2025, he's got a new crew chief in Charles Danique, who used to be the crew chief for Christian Eckes in the Truck Series, and that unreal run they had in 2024. And with that comes a fresh shot to silence the critics. Bubba has a talent. It's time to translate that into wins and leave the haters eating in his dust. And then there's Riley Herbst, the newest member of the 23XI roster. Calling this a competition between him and his teammates is generous, but anyways, let's roll with it. Herbst flashed some talent with a win at Indianapolis in the Xfinity Series last year, but let's be real. This move is more about keeping the team's bank account happy than betting on a rookie Cup start. He might surprise us, but odds are Herbst will spend 2024 learning the hard way that the Cup Series is a whole different animal. Between Reddick's championship potential, Bubba's steady improvement, and Herbst's likely growing pains, 23XI is a team on the rise, even if they're still working out a few kinks. Whether it's shaking things up on track or in the courtroom, one thing's for sure, 23XI isn't just here to play, they're here to make noise. Trackhouse Racing spent 2024 as a team in flux, juggling expansions, driver changes, and a brand makeover. They're rolling into 2025 with a fresh coat of paint and apparently a new mantra: why not try everything at once? Leading the charge into this brave new era is Shane Van Gisbergen, the man from Down Under, or technically Down Under. He makes history by becoming the first New Zealander to go full-time in the Cup Series in the modern era, but let's not crown him a contender just yet. Let's be honest, expectations for SVG are pretty low. Sure, he's taken over the sacred number 88, formerly owned by NASCAR's Jesus, but don't expect any water into wine miracles from him just yet. Learning Cup racing is tough, even for a road course king like Shane. However, one thing is certain, when the track has more twists and turns than a soap opera, SVG will be a problem for everyone else. As for the driver of the number 1 ride, remember when Ross Chastain was that guy? The watermelon smashing, wall riding maniac who made every race a most-watched TV? Yeah, that Ross seems to have disappeared. Ever since Rick gave him the tog at Darlington in 2023, it's like Ross has been running with a governor on his engine. For a guy who once lived for chaos, it seemed, on the racetrack, it's like he swapped his melon smashing hammer for a paperweight. Then there is Daniel Suarez, the eternal optimist of the garage. Yes, he grabbed a win at Atlanta, but that was one of just 4 top 5s all year. For a guy who was supposed to be thriving in Trackhouse's prime, his 2024 campaign was more meh than memorable. If Trackhouse wants to climb back to their 2022 glory days, Suarez and Chastain will need to bring more to the table, because there is a young Connor Zilisch that is just waiting in the wings, ready to strike. Trying to describe RFK Racing's 2024 season is like trying to explain why people like pineapple on pizza. It's complicated, occasionally sweet, but mostly confusing. On one hand, for the first time in 11 years, more than one driver actually won a race for the team. On the other hand, those wins came with very little consistency. Let's start with the boss man, Brad Keselowski. After a 3-year winless drought, Brad finally broke through at Darlington, thanks in no small part to Tyler Reddick taking out his own driver. But just as we were getting ready to call it a comeback, Brad's momentum fizzled out. He was bounced in the first round of the playoffs, leaving us to wonder, is Bad Brad back, or is this just a nostalgia tour? And then there's Chris Buescher, the unluckiest man in NASCAR it seems. You couldn't help but root for the guy as he kept sniffing around victory lane, only for it to slip through his fingers time and time again. Hell, he was officially a winner for 10 seconds before having it taken away at Kansas. I mean, do you know how much those winner stickers mean these days?
I don't have that sticker on my door. This means more.
Still, Buescher managed to claw his way to victory at Watkins Glen in a nail-biting finish against Shane Van Gisbergen, but it was a far cry from the 3 wins he racked up in 2023. Adding to the mix is Ryan Preece, RFK's shiny new 3rd driver. Preece could surprise people this year, finally being equipment that is capable of winning. Either way, his addition, and with the new sponsor in Kroger, signals that RFK Racing isn't just sitting around reminiscing about the good old days, they're aiming to rebuild for the future. For a team that once looked like it was circling down the drain, RFK Racing has stabilized to a degree not seen since the early 2000s. They've got wins, a new driver, and a foundation that actually feels solid for the first time in ages. If they can harness their potential and avoid the endless almost, RFK might just be ready to rise back to prominence. For now though, they're the lovable underdogs of the Cup Series. Scrappy, frustrating, and impossible not to cheer for. Okay, oh no. Do we have to talk about this team? I don't want to, they suck. Alright, fine. Alright, let's dive into this dumpster fire. To all the Kyle Busch fans out there, I am so sorry. RCR is wasting this man's talent faster than a driver burns through tires at Darlington. Is Kyle Busch past his prime? Maybe. But even if he is, he doesn't deserve this. For the first time in his illustrious career, he went a whole season without a Cup win. Kyle's 2024 season was a statistical dumpster fire. Lowest number of top 5s and top 10s, fewest laps led, and the worst average finish of his career. It was like watching 2005 Kyle Busch, but with fewer tantrums and more head-scratching mistakes. Yet just when we thought all hope was lost, he showed signs of life in the final 2 races at Daytona and Darlington. It's proof that there is still a little rowdy left in the tank. And hey, at least he finished 20th in points. That's something, I guess. Now let's talk about Austin Dillon, RCR's golden boy. Where is he? 30 seconds? Oh boy, Austin Dillon's like the Lance Stroll of NASCAR. I mean, seriously, 32nd in points out of 34 full-time drivers. Even for Austin, that's bad. And the one race he was competitive in, he had to basically commit capital murder on 2 drivers to win. Alright, now unlike other privileged drivers who at least have some raw talent, Austin feels like he's been coasting on family ties and good PR. How has this man stayed in the Cup Series for this long? If I had to bet, the number 3 car might be getting a new driver sooner rather than later. Yes, RCR is making some personnel changes for 2025, but let's be real, this is a burning ship, and those are just some new deck chairs. If I'm Kyle Busch, I'm already shopping around for a life raft. With this contract year coming up, don't be surprised if Rowdy starts eyeing greener pastures, or at least a team where the wheels aren't falling off, literally and metaphorically. Spire Motorsports has also had some big changes, not only behind the wheel, but at the shop, preparing for what could possibly be a breakout year. Let's start off with Carson Hocevar. This kid, and I can call him a kid since he's a year younger than me, is like a roller coaster. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, you might want to look away. Sure, he's racked up 6 top 10s, including a strong 3rd at Watkins Glen, but he's also known to drive like the only rule in NASCAR is to send it. The good news is that as he heads into his sophomore year, he's got a solid base to work on. The bad news, he might still think send it is a valid racing strategy, and in the Cup Series, they won't take that message too kindly. Time will tell if he keeps the wheels on the racetrack. Next, there's Justin Haley, returning to the team that gave him his first Cup win in Daytona in July of 2019. After outperforming his equipment at RFK Racing with an occasional top 10 run here and there, he earned a promotion to Spire, swapping places with Corey LaJoie. But Justin's time in the 7 car didn't exactly continue his hot streak. But hey, maybe a fresh start with Spire will help him finally show what the 7 car can really do. The potential is there, just keep all 4 tires on the ground and you will already be a big improvement. Finally, there's Spire's third driver, Michael McDowell. After 7 years at front row, McDowell is swapping his ride for Zane Smith's old number 71. It's a change of scenery, but he's ready for it. After all, he is a Daytona 500 champion, so it's safe to say McDowell knows how to get it done. With this move, Spire gains a driver with veteran knowledge. With Hocevar's chaos, Haley's chip on his shoulder, and McDowell's steady hand, Spire Motorsports is set up for a season of potential fireworks. Whether those fireworks turn into a victory celebration or just a few burnt out tires is up to the drivers. But Spire may just surprise everyone in 2025. On the other side of NASCAR's lawsuit drama with 2311 is Front Row Motorsports, a team that's gone from the kind of luck where a top 20 finish felt like a party to now being one of the most hyped up teams heading into 2025. But just as things have been growing, they're also changing, and not just in the boardroom. After 7 years, Michael McDowell says farewell to Front Row Motorsports, replacing him, the fresh-faced 24-year-old Todd Gilliland, who now gets to lead the front row charge. Todd had a solid year, and let's be real, someone had to take the reins after McDowell decided to leave. Todd's ready, and if his second half surge is any indication, he might just be the future of the team. Now for Noah Gragson, who's hit the NASCAR trifecta of teams in his 3rd Cup season, only this time, he's at a stable team. Gregson's got the talent, but now he's stepping into the iconic number 4 car. The pressure's on for the Las Vegas native. He's got all the makings of a breakout star, but let's see if he can actually put it together. Then there's Zane Smith, who's back with the team where it all started after winning the truck title for them in 2022. He spent some time at Spire, but let's be honest, the first half of that season was like watching paint dry. The second half came around, and Zane suddenly remembered how to drive. Expect him to keep improving and maybe steal a few more top 10 finishes for Front Row. Now, Traffic Paradise, you can calm down with the Smith glazing. He's got a ride, chill. Now you can focus on just glazing over Tony Brettinger. With all these changes, they're either going to surprise everyone or pull a fast one on us. Still, there's enough talent here to make some noise in 2025. They've got a solid mix of youth and experience, so let's hope it all clicks. Legacy Motor Club. The names and the people behind it suggest prestige, but let's be honest at this point. Their legacy is teetering on the edge of becoming NASCAR's version of a forgotten reality show. Sure, switching manufacturers from Chevrolet to Toyota comes with growing pains, but this was less of a transition and more of a free fall off a cliff. Let's recap this joyless saga. Eric Jones, a 2-time Southern 500 winner who deserves far better, missed 2 races after a back injury at Talladega and limped to a 28th points finish. Meanwhile, John Nemechek's season was so bad, he might as well have been racing a lawnmower, dead last and 34th among full-time drivers. And then there's Jimmy Johnson, who popped in for 9 races only to get knocked around like a bad habit. I swear, this team is under a curse. On paper, Legacy has all the ingredients for success. Solid sponsors, decent drivers, and a manufacturer that's proven capable, and on top of that, the people behind the scenes you would think would produce results, and has produced anything but that. Unless they start making big changes quickly, they're on the fast track to becoming the next great NASCAR cautionary tale. Filling up the list is JTG Daugherty Racing, now rebranded as Hayek Motorsports. Now I know when I say that name, you cannot call without getting a couple of eyebrow raises. I'm not saying what you're thinking, so you can stop right there. Losing a major sponsor in Kroger and the Geschichters, who have owned the team since the very beginning, quietly leaving the sport creates a lot of question marks about the future of the team. Of course, what helps is winning, which is what Ricky Stenhouse Jr. did at Talladega in the fall. And knowing this team, they'll probably only have 6 opportunities to have a shot and generate some publicity. That, or you can just punch a driver, that'll generate some clicks. Colleague Racing is searching for some glimpse after a very disappointing 2024 season, with bringing back AJ Allmendinger and for some reason Ty Dillon. I expect AJ to not back down to SVG on the road courses, who have seemingly taken his crown as NASCAR's road course king. Stratta Racing has shut down with half of the owners still competing in Gene Haas, who has rebranded the team to Haas Factory Team, only fielding 1 car with 2023 Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer at the wheel. RFK Racing went from a team that seemed to be ready for the future, just in need of some tweaks, fell flat on their ass and hired this guy. Cody Ware. You know what? The less said about him, the better. After an uneventful and lackluster 3 years for the Wood brothers, besides their 100th win at Daytona thanks to Harrison Byrne, they finally decided to find a new driver. Enter Josh Berry, who had some good runs at SHR, but now looks to prove that he belongs in the Cup Series and hopes to revive 2017 vibes for the oldest team in NASCAR. Sprinkle on top some good old BJ McLeod, Junior Motorsports and Justin Allgaier chasing Daytona alongside Martrix Jr. at Tricon, and some international royalty with 4-time Indy 500 champion Elo Castroneves at Trackhouse, and you have a full list for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series. So what are my predictions for the playoffs? Well, knowing that consistency doesn't mean anything, let's get it out of the way. It's an odd year, but still, Joey Logano will make the playoffs with Ryan Blaney. Regular season champion Tyler Reddick will for sure find a way back, and his teammate Bubba Wallace, who has improved, will find a way to go to victory lane. Hendrick Motorsports will have all their drivers competing for the Cup, so let's have them in as well. Ross Chastain from Trackhouse will get in either by points or by a win. And we can also throw in rookie Shane Van Gisbergen. With 5 road courses in the regular season, SVG will for sure find a way to take one of those races. Hendrick Motorsports won't be the only 4-car team in the playoffs. Gibbs Racing will also be going in with full force. And finally, bringing up the rear is RFK Racing, who continues to improve, which gives me no reason not to have Keselowski and Buescher win their way in. However, this is NASCAR, so maybe you can expect a surprise winner, and with 5 super speedway races in the regular season, drivers like Justin Haley, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. or Michael McDowell can for sure flip the playoff picture. As for the ones I left out, like Daniel Suarez and Austin Cindric, I just don't think they have the pace compared to their teammates to compete for wins. In terms of Suarez, SVG has the road courses, and Chastain is capable of winning just about anywhere, but I haven't seen that with Suarez. And while I would love to see a perfect scenario of him winning in Mexico, I don't expect much out of the 99 camp. Both Blaney and Logano can win at just about everywhere, but with Cindric, things have to line up perfectly in order for him to capitalize, and I don't think he'll get a free one like what he got at Gateway. But let's be honest, this is NASCAR, so all this could be wrong and I could look like a complete idiot by the end of it. So at the end of the day, it, bring on 2025.